Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World Daily with me, John Jordan. So we have some news about Blanko's block party, at least the marketplace, mythical marketplace, which has been live now. Let's try and think where we are. It's been live now for about kind of 4 months or so. Is that right? 6 months? I don't know. Time goes fast. But anyway, we are entering beta. So we're moving from sort of alpha to beta. And the kind of thinking behind that is up to this point, there's been sort of limited availability of some functionality. So still, until it enters beta, only people from certain countries have been allowed to buy and sell NFTs. Most of the rest of the world have just been able to buy NFTs. So clearly that's sort of a sort of constrained sort of economy. If you can only buy things and not be able to sell them, I mean, generally you would expect that means the price of these things is higher than it otherwise will be. So the first interesting thing will be that people will be able to sell their NFTs from more countries. Not saying all countries, but from more countries, starting from the 30th of September. That's quite a big deal. So clearly, I would expect the short-term reaction to that will be the price, certainly the floor price of Blanko's NFTs will go down. I can't see how that won't be the case, because people who have not been able to sell their NFTs are suddenly now going to be able to sell them, and obviously most of these NFTs have gone up in value, so people will want to realise some of their profits, I imagine. I guess what's interesting to look at from a deeper economic point of view is, does that impact the lowest serial numbers? So obviously we have whatever it is now, 60 different Blankos NFTs out there, and they all have a floor price, which is sort of dependent on how much supply, how many of those NFTs have been minted, how many of those characters have been minted. But within those NFT groups, the pricing is basically around what's the serial number. So serial number 1 is always the most expensive. So what will be interesting to see is how much of the sort of the very low serial numbers, so the single digits, the double digits, those are sort of the top end of the market. So will more people selling, will it impact that market? My sort of gut feeling is probably there's not going to be that many. Obviously there's only 100. There's only hundreds. It's got kind of single or double digit for each Blankos. So probably it's not going to change the pricing model that much there. And perhaps even there may be some bargains coming in. So if you're sort of collecting at that high end, now there's going to be people who haven't been able to sell, sort of coming into the marketplace and selling, and probably they're going to be, at an early point, sort of quite keen to sell. So we might see some interesting sort of pricing variation there. We'll wait and see. But also the other sort of thing we've got now coming in is payout into crypto wallets. So that's interesting. At the moment, we've been doing everything through credit cards and a sort of cash out system that allows you to cash out into PayPal. So now we're going to be able to pay out into crypto wallets. I assume that also means we'll kind of we'll kind of cover it in the next bit. But there's a more general sort of situation where crypto, at least ETH, is going to be supported more widely in the marketplace. That's again interesting from the other side, because I think for the very rare and the top end sort of Blankos and low serial numbers, that means people can start deploying sort of their crypto wealth into the marketplace. And some of these things are being sort of priced once you get over like $5,000. Probably most people can't put that on their credit card. So that'll be an interesting sort of a pricing differential the other way. So I think we're going to see two competing sort of things. There's going to be more selling because people can now sell, and that will certainly probably decrease the floor price for some degree. But then equally, you're going to have smaller numbers of very high value individuals with crypto wealth, bringing that into the system. They're probably not going to be wanting to buy floor price, but they're going to be wanting to buy more expensive. So that's what I'm expecting. I could be wrong, obviously, but from basic economics, that's sort of what I imagine is going to be happening. So also the newest update, more countries will be able to participate as well. So maybe that's more people potentially buying and selling. So there's quite a lot of variation there. We'll see how it plays out. So one of the biggest beneficiaries of this update will be able to deposit funds into your bank account in your local currency and cryptocurrency. So at the moment, everything's in USD, and you've been cashing out through PayPal. Now you better cash out through your bank account. Obviously, you have to go through all the usual KYC stuff we'll get onto that in a minute, well, I'll get onto it now, shall we? So they are integrating the Mythical wallet with Uphold. So Uphold is a custodial wallet system. It's actually more than just sort of crypto. So it does kind of, you can have, it's like a sort of a banking system where you can have different currencies. You can also have crypto. You can also have commodities. You can also have shares, I think, as well. So it's a bit like a general sort of digital money asset sort of wallet. I guess a bit like kind of Revolut, I guess we have in the UK and Europe. So yeah, it's not the easiest one to use, I would say. And if you're going to use that, you will have to set up you'll have to go through their KYC stuff. And also, there's some stuff going on here. There's crypto payments is sort of the big thing. So at the moment, it's going to be still USD, which is the sort of underlying kind of currency for Mythical. Mythical are a US company, so they're very kind of compliant to local laws. Crypto payments will be really interesting, I think, because I just think that allows sort of the crypto native people to get involved. Whether they will or not, I don't know. There is this sort of, there's always been this sort of feeling that Blankos has sort of been sort of underappreciated by many by the crypto kind of crowd, because it's running basically on a centralized blockchain and using fiat. So as it sort of opens up, does that mean more people are going to come in? I mean, potentially, I think. But does it mean sort of all the NFT whales are going to come piling in? Probably not. I don't think that's the case. I mean, they don't really pile in to actually very much at the top end. But I think all these sort of projects, when you get a bit of sort of momentum, then that sort of draws people in. So anything, from my point of view, anything that makes it more open to crypto, that's going to be good. Personally makes it easier for me to not mess around with credit cards. But I think there doesn't need to be that many. If there's like 10 or 20 of us who are interested in that sort of thing, then I think that's quite powerful for the marketplace. To withdraw funds from your Mythical wallet, you have to create an Uphold account and link it to your marketplace account, obviously, so they can pay through. If you do not wish to create an Uphold account after the update, you can continue to use your proceeds from sales to buy more items, but you can't cash it out. So why anyone would do that, I don't know. So there is an issue here, and obviously, maybe some people I don't know. I don't know what Uphold's view, how geographically broad Uphold is. So maybe there's some countries they don't support for some weird reasons. There is some stuff going on here about cryptocurrency, particularly in sort of UK and Europe. And actually, Uphold have just done a big update to the cryptocurrencies you can actually buy. They have reduced the number of cryptocurrencies you can buy, which is not relevant to this particular thing, but there's obviously just quite a lot of legislation going on in various places. I think Germany is one now that seems to have changed its laws. Anyway, so all sales that take place after the update on the 30th of September, including asks, which are basically NFT price listed before to that, will be available to withdraw only through Uphold. So if you do not wish to create an Uphold account, we recommend cancelling any active asks prior to this date. So basically, if you don't want to create an Uphold account and you want to cash it out through PayPal, you basically have to get in there now and drop the price of everything to get it to sell, and then you can sort of cash out your dollars through the current system. But after that, you have to have an Uphold account. That's the only way this is going to work. So that is a sort of restriction. There we go. So previously, the marketplace is using a thing called Hyper Wallet. So earnings that happen up to the 30th of September will just go through Hyper Wallet as usual. And anything you've accumulated up to that point will be continued. Like basically, Hyper Wallet will continue to be supported for what's happened in the past. But Uphold will be the sort of future thing from the 30th. So there we go. Global support. So here's a bunch of stuff. Okay, I'll put this update in. So what is being supported, this stuff will sort of change, and obviously there are limitations because of what Uphold does. So we can kind of see. So there's crypto payments, I guess, for everything, because Germany is this really weird thing. Something's going on with Germany. Don't quite know. They've changed their crypto laws, obviously. They've changed their banking laws. This is about bank accounts as well. But basically, with crypto, you'll be able to sort of every country, not every country, but most countries here we can see is sort of supported with crypto. If you want to cash out via bank accounts, that's looking like a much smaller number of countries. But it comes to the big ones: UK, United States. So Canada, we've previously supported withdrawing to bank account will now only be crypto wallets. Germany and Hawaii are doing these weird things, but it looks like they have to sort of change some features there. So they look like they'll be able to get Germany back online at some point. Yeah, it's all. I mean, this kind of stuff is complicated, but you know, we I think over time they just sort of expect this to happen. And as I say, so Mythical are quite or very sort of compliant in legal stuff. This is one of their sort of key things they want to offer. So they are sort of playing by the rules, where other companies are maybe a bit more not so bothered about this sort of thing. But you know, Mythical certainly are. Yeah, difficult if you're in Germany at the moment because basically you can't do anything. But you know, these are, I think, all these sort of things. It's best not to get too worried about kind of what are short-term kind of issues, and we know legislation is going to change around. You know, various countries are going to have change of legislation. I mean, not a great surprise that China's just banned cryptocurrencies effectively. I mean, they've been sort of pushing down that line for years. But this stuff is clearly going to change. So obviously, as ever, never spend more money than you can afford sort of to lose in these things, because it may be particularly for these more centralized systems that you basically get locked out because of your government's legislation. Obviously, as crypto stuff sort of, I think over time, you know, Blankos will sort of move towards a more open sort of crypto option. So you won't need Uphold, but there's, you know, I'm just sort of that's my view on where they're going to go, maybe in a year's time or something like that. Yeah, we will see. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where I'm very interested in Blankos and seeing how that works as a more centralized system. Obviously, we love the stuff like Axie as well, but there's not a one-size-fits-all solution, I think, to these things. So good to see Mythical sort of fighting their way through some of these problems. Hopefully, they come out the other side. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and see you again soon.